First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Hey everybody, my name is Brian with FCHS, Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Gloucester County. We're doing another healthy recipe this week. The program today is made possible through a grant from New Jersey SNAP-Ed and the New Jersey Department of Health and Human Services. So after the survey today, we're going to post a link, or after the lesson today, we're going to post a link to a survey. If you don't mind taking a survey for us, it helps our program out a lot. It helps our funders learn some valuable information. It helps us learn some valuable information. So if you take our survey, we will send you a little prize in the mail. You just have to message us your address and we'll send that along. So as a little incentive, so if you do take it, we'll send you something, and we really appreciate it if you take the survey. But I think we're good to get started. So we're doing a pesto this week. So I really like pesto, one of my favorite recipes, especially for the summertime. It's really easy to make. You don't have to use your stove. You don't have to heat up the house. It's really quick, and pesto, it sounds like super fancy, right? So we'll show you how to make it, and you'll see it's really easy. So the main ingredient for our pesto is basil. So I just picked this basil from the garden. Just gotta make sure the camera's right now. Looks like it tilted quite a bit. Okay, so we have our basil here. I just picked this from the garden. Basil is really easy to grow. It grows well in the summer months, also grows really well in your windowsill. So you can grow it year round if you'd like. I even have a couple different kinds. I have some purple basil here. I have some green basil. So whatever basil you want to add is good. So with pesto, you can add kind of whatever leafy green you want. So if you didn't have basil, you don't have to. You could use kale, you could use spinach, kind of whatever you'd like. But we're going to do basil because I have a ton of it. So that's going to be our first ingredient. So some of the health benefits of basil, it's really high in vitamins A, olive oil. So I'm going to do half a cup olive oil. You might have to add in more as you're blending it. You'll kind of see as it's blending up if you have to add more in. But I have about half a cup here. So olive oil, it's a good source of the healthy fats. So that's the unsaturated versus saturated. So we're getting those good unsaturated fats with our olive oil here. Okay, so we add that in. Next up, we have our garlic. So for garlic, this recipe, it's only going to be 1 clove. I like garlic a lot, but if you add more than 1 clove, it might be a little bit too garlicky because it blends up all together. But you can always start with 1 clove, and then if you want to add more in, you can. So we just need to peel it. So easiest way is take the knife, flatten it, and it peels pretty easily now. So we'll just kind of get rid of that. Alrighty. Okay, that's about good. So we'll throw that in. Just gotta rinse my hands. Alright, so we have our garlic in there. Next up, we're going to add in some walnuts. So I just have like 3 tablespoons of walnuts. For pesto, a lot of times you'll see pine nuts in there. Pine nuts are a little bit more expensive. So we're going to do walnuts. Very high in protein, again high in the good fats as well. So walnuts are a great choice, but feel free to use any nut that you'd like. Got that in. And basically the last ingredient is just going to be some Parmesan cheese. So I would just recommend getting the whole block of Parmesan cheese and then just grating it yourself. You only need about a 1/4 cup, but that's going to help with the flavor. It's also usually a lot cheaper to get the whole block than getting the kind of pre-grated kind. So we're going to add that in. And that's basically it for now. So the only other thing, we'll add in some salt and pepper at the end after it's all blended. So real quick, I have our My Plate that I always like to show. So My Plate has all our food groups, right? So we have our fruits, our vegetables, grains, protein, and dairy. So with this recipe, right, we have our basil, so that's a vegetable. We have the walnuts, so we do have some good protein. We have a little bit of the cheese, so we do have some dairy. Typically, I would serve pesto with maybe couscous or whole grain pasta. So that's a way that you can get some grain in there as well. You can serve it any way you'd like, as a dip works too, kind of whatever your preference is. But that's how typically I would serve it. So you are getting a lot of the food groups with this recipe, and I might even add in some more vegetables too, some like roasted or sauteed vegetables to add a little something else. So we're getting a lot of our food groups, but I think we're ready to blend it up. So a food processor works great, blender works good too, so usually like 30 seconds should do it. So blender, up. That's good, so we didn't have to add in any more oil or anything. That looks pretty good. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour this out. So like I said before, the last thing, once it's all out of the blender here, should be good for now. We'll just add a little sprinkle of salt and pepper. Just a little sprinkle of salt. Alright, and then we'll just mix that up and that should be all set. So this is about the consistency. Hopefully you guys can see it, that we're looking for here. So you can see it blended up nicely, there's no chunks or anything. So now you can do whatever you'd like with it. Make some pasta, you can put in the fridge, save it for later. It freezes pretty well too, so however you want to use it, you can. But that's basically it for the pesto, so you can see it's really simple, really easy to make. So thank you guys again, and we'll see you next time.